You could give her the world and she still won't care. You could spend your money, your time, your energy, and she would still walk away without a second thought. Because women are not moved by effort. They are moved by desire. This isn't about hating women. This is about understanding reality. Most men waste years trying to buy love with effort, when the truth is, women don't care about how hard you try. They care about how you make them feel. If you miss this truth, you'll keep giving more and more, while she gives less and less. Today, we break that cycle. Number 1. Effort doesn't equal desire. This is one of the most common mistakes men make when dealing with women. Many men think if they put in constant effort, she will automatically feel more for them. They believe that endless texting, frequent dates, or even sacrificing personal goals will make her choose them. But attraction doesn't work like that. Attraction is not built through logic or calculation. It comes from emotion. It comes from how she feels in the moment, not how much effort you spend trying to impress her. A man can give her everything, but if there is no spark, no emotional pull, she will feel nothing. Effort without desire is empty. It creates the appearance of closeness, but it lacks the tension that fuels attraction. The problem with giving too much is that it destroys the very conditions that create desire. When you try too hard, you remove the unknown. You remove mystery. You eliminate scarcity. She knows you are always available, so she doesn't have to wonder about you. She doesn't have to think about whether she might lose you. Without that tension, desire fades. The chase disappears. Human nature values what is rare and questions what is uncertain. If she knows you are always there, then she doesn't have to value your time, your energy, or your attention. It becomes predictable. Predictability kills excitement. This is why you often see men who do far less actually spark stronger attraction. They are not trying to prove their worth every minute. They focus on their own lives. They give attention in doses, not constantly. This creates space. Space allows her to feel curiosity. Curiosity allows desire to grow. The balance between presence and absence is what creates tension. Too much presence suffocates it. Too much absence kills it as well. But the right mix keeps attraction alive. Remember this truth. Effort alone doesn't create desire. Effort without emotional pull feels like pressure. The more you push, the more she feels the need to pull away. Real attraction isn't earned through overinvestment. It comes from living with purpose, keeping your boundaries, and allowing her to experience the thrill of wanting more. Number 2, the nice guy trap is one of the most common mistakes men fall into without even realizing it. Many believe that if they are endlessly kind, agreeable, and available, they will eventually win a woman's heart. The truth is, women don't reject kindness, but they do lose interest when a man becomes predictable. Predictability removes the spark. When every move is obvious, when every answer is yes, and when every gesture is meant to please without any edge or mystery, attraction slowly fades. Women are not drawn to men who simply hand them comfort on a silver platter. Comfort alone does not create desire. What actually stirs a woman's emotions is uncertainty, curiosity, and the challenge of discovering more about a man. A nice guy often strips all of that away by making himself too safe and too easy to read. When a man positions himself as the backup plan, always waiting in the shadows for attention, he silently communicates that he has no better options and no standards of his own. That dynamic never leads to being her first choice. A woman may appreciate the attention. She may even enjoy the security of knowing he is always there. But appreciation is not the same as attraction. Desire does not grow in a predictable routine. It grows in the unknown, in the tension of not having full control, and in the respect that comes when a man shows he has boundaries and a life of his own. The problem with the nice guy trap is that it teaches men to suppress their authenticity in exchange for approval. They smile when they don't want to. They agree when they should disagree. They avoid risk because they fear rejection. Ironically, this very behavior guarantees rejection in the long run. Because a man who hides his real self can never inspire real desire. Women want to feel, not just receive. They want a man who excites them, who surprises them, and who challenges them to rise. The moment you stop trying to be the safe choice and start being the honest choice, you break free of the trap. If you continue being the predictable backup, you will always remain outside the spotlight, watching her choose someone else. Number 3. Validation makes you weak. When you make a habit of telling a woman how much you need her, or when you find yourself begging for her attention, you are not building a connection, you are giving away control. Every time you chase validation, you hand over your strength. It might feel good in the moment to hear her say she values you or that she cares, but what you are really doing is feeding an emptiness inside you that grows larger each time. Real respect does not come from proving how much you want someone. It comes from showing that you can stand on your own, that you are solid even without constant approval. Women are wired to test this. They want to see if you can keep your frame or if you crumble when you do not get their attention. When you show neediness, you fail that test. A man who constantly seeks validation communicates insecurity. He is saying he cannot trust his own worth, so he looks for her to confirm it. That dynamic kills attraction. She might give reassurance at first, but over time she loses respect. No woman admires a man who acts like a boy chasing approval. She admires the man who stays centered regardless of her mood, who does not let her silence, her withdrawal, or her teasing pull him off balance. Your value is not something she decides. It is something you decide every day by how you live, how you act, and how you carry yourself. The truth is that validation is addictive. It feels like energy in the moment, but it drains you over time. You start to rely on it, and once you rely on it, you become weak. The stronger move is to validate yourself. Build your life so that you are proud of your path. Set standards for yourself and meet them. Pursue goals that matter to you. When you do that, you no longer need her to tell you that you are enough, because you already know it. That is the frame women respect. That is the kind of man they admire, not the one who seeks constant reassurance. Number 4. Being needed is not the same as being wanted. There is a dangerous trap many men fall into. They confuse being needed with being desired. A woman may need you for stability, money, advice, comfort, or protection. She may depend on you because you fill gaps in her life. But that need does not always come from attraction. It comes from convenience and survival. When you mistake that need for desire, you start to believe you are in control, when in reality, you are only filling a role that benefits her. You become useful, but not irresistible. And usefulness without desire always carries an expiration date. Think about it. If she only keeps you around because you pay the bills, listen to her problems, or offer her security, you are replaceable. The moment someone else can provide more, or she no longer needs what you give, you lose value in her eyes. This is how men end up blindsided when a woman suddenly leaves after years of depending on them. They thought need equaled love. They thought sacrifice equaled loyalty. But what she truly wanted was never met. She wanted passion. She wanted the man who excites her, not just the man who supports her. Desire is different. Desire means she chooses you even when she doesn't need you. Desire means she craves your presence, your touch, your energy. It is not about survival, it is about passion. When a woman wants you, she will move mountains to keep you. She will invest her time, attention, and loyalty not because she has to, but because she is drawn to you. That is where your real power lies. Not in being needed, but in being wanted. The lesson is simple. Do not build your value on what you provide. Build your value on who you are. A man who confuses need for desire gives away his freedom. He becomes her provider, her safety net, her emotional sponge, but never her obsession. If you want respect and devotion, you must aim higher. You must become the man she doesn't just rely on, but the man she cannot resist. The difference between the two is the difference between being tolerated and being treasured. Number 5. Emotional power, not presence. Many men make the mistake of thinking that simply being present is enough to win a woman's heart. They believe that showing up, answering every call, and making themselves constantly available will create attraction. In reality, presence without emotional power carries no weight. You can be there every day, but if you don't create impact, your presence fades into the background. She doesn't crave a man who is always there like furniture in the room. She wants a man who can move her emotionally, a man who leaves her feeling something long after he's gone. Attraction thrives on emotions, not routines. This does not mean you should play games or pretend to be someone you are not. It means you need to stand in your own power. Grounded men do not beg for attention. They don't try to force interest through constant availability. Instead, they lead with confidence, create tension through unpredictability, and maintain their standards. When you show that you have a life, priorities, and self-respect, your presence gains weight. She starts to value the moments you give because she knows you are not handing them out cheaply. A man who is everywhere becomes invisible. If you answer every text within seconds, if you drop everything at the smallest request, if you constantly seek her validation, you blend into the background of her life. But when you control your presence, when you decide when and how to engage, you stand out. She notices. She feels the difference between a man who tries to fill space and a man who commands it. Emotional power is not about manipulation. It is about authenticity, but with strength. It is about showing that you can lead in conversation, spark curiosity, challenge her perspective, and create emotional highs and lows that make her feel alive. Women remember how you make them feel, not how often you are around. If you want to be unforgettable, focus less on constant presence and more on the energy you bring each time you appear. That is what builds lasting attraction. That is what separates a man she overlooks from a man she cannot forget. Number 6. Mystery beats consistency. Consistency has value, but when it becomes excess, it starts to drain attraction instead of building it. A man who is too available, always predictable, and constantly reachable ends up becoming routine. Routine is comfortable, but comfort alone rarely creates desire. What many men fail to understand is that women are not only drawn to reliability, they are also pulled toward curiosity. They want to feel there is more to learn, more to uncover, and more to chase. If every word you say, every move you make, and every response you give is already predictable, the relationship begins to lose energy. The unknown is powerful because it keeps her mind engaged. She thinks about what you might do next, what you might say, and what other layers of you exist. That curiosity fuels attraction. Mystery does not mean being deceptive, manipulative, or playing games. It means not placing your entire personality on the table right away. It means leaving space for her to discover who you are over time instead of overwhelming her with every detail from the start. A man who reveals everything too quickly removes the excitement of discovery. The early stages of attraction thrive on uncertainty, and when that is gone, so is the intensity. Mystery is created by pacing how much of yourself you share, by holding back certain details until the right moment, and by living a life that is interesting beyond her. When your world is filled with goals, passions, and activities she cannot fully access, she feels intrigued. She begins to wonder about the parts of you she has not seen. That wondering keeps her invested. Consistency should remain in the form of respect, honesty, and clear intentions. Mystery should exist in how you present yourself, how much of your time you give, and how you reveal your personality. Attraction grows when she feels steady in your character, but curious about your depth. If you strip away all curiosity by being too predictable, you leave no room for her imagination. The right balance is what matters. A man who combines consistency and values with mystery and presence keeps a woman excited, engaged, and drawn in over the long term. Number 7. She wants challenge, not worship. Many men fall into the trap of believing that the more they worship a woman, the more she will value them. They think endless compliments, constant availability, and unconditional agreement will keep her loyal and satisfied. The truth is the opposite. Worship suffocates desire. A woman does not crave a man who bends to her every request. She does not want someone who sacrifices his self-respect in order to please her at all costs. What she truly responds to is a man who provides a challenge, someone who stands on his own ground and refuses to fold under pressure. When you give her everything she asks for without question, she begins to test you. She will push for more, demand more, and keep increasing the pressure until you finally break. And once you break, the attraction fades because the mystery, the tension, and the respect are gone. This does not mean being cruel or indifferent. It means having standards and enforcing them. It means knowing what you accept and what you will not tolerate. When she sees that you have boundaries, she respects you more, even if she protests in the moment. A woman may argue, she may push back, but deep down she wants to feel that you are not swayed by every emotional wave. If you stand firm, she feels secure because she knows you are not easily manipulated. That steadiness builds desire in a way worship never could. The men who hold their ground flip the power dynamic. They move from chasing approval to commanding respect. Instead of smothering her with validation, they create space for her to earn it as well. She feels the need to rise to his level, to prove herself worthy of his attention rather than taking it for granted. Attraction grows in that space of tension and balance. You are not her servant, and you are not her puppet. You are her equal, and sometimes her challenge. That is what keeps her interested, engaged, and invested. When you demand respect instead of blind devotion, you give her what she truly craves, even if she cannot say it out loud. Women do not stay for worship. They stay for respect, strength, and the challenge of a man who cannot be broken. Number 8. The less you react, the more she feels. A woman will test you in ways that often appear small, yet they carry weight. She may ignore your messages for a while, withdraw her attention, or make remarks that provoke a response. These moments are not random. They are her way of seeing what you are made of, how stable you remain when things do not go your way. If you respond with anger, if you lash out, or if you fall into pleading for her validation, you show weakness. You reveal that her mood can control you. That is the quickest way to lose respect. What you must understand is that silence, calm, and composure are not signs of indifference. They are signs of mastery over yourself. The man who can stay grounded when challenged shows that his emotions do not control him. And this is rare. Most men crack at the first sign of withdrawal. They overexplain. They chase. They argue. In doing so, they lower their value in her eyes. When you remain steady, you send a message without words. You communicate that you are not desperate for approval. You communicate that her test does not shake your core. And this shifts the dynamic completely. The less you react, the more she feels. She feels curiosity about why you are not chasing. She feels respect because you did not collapse under pressure. She feels attraction because restraint is strength. Strength is not found in loud words or in emotional outbursts. Strength is found in discipline, in the ability to hold still when every impulse tells you to move. This is what captures her attention. Understand that women are drawn to strength because strength creates safety. When you show you cannot be rattled by games, silence, or pressure, you demonstrate that you can handle the weight of bigger challenges. You show that you are not just stable for yourself, but capable of being stable for both of you. That is why the less you react, the more she feels. She feels your power in your restraint. She feels your presence in your calm. She feels your value when you refuse to beg, argue, or lose control. Strength is the highest form of attraction, and silence is its loudest expression. Women don't leave men because of lack of effort. They leave because the man stopped making her feel. Effort buys comfort, not desire. And desire is the currency of attraction. If you want to be unforgettable, stop overgiving, stop over-explaining, stop over-chasing. Become grounded. Become unshakable. Become the man who cannot be moved. If you've ever felt the sting of giving everything and getting nothing, it's because you focused on effort, not desire. Change that, and you change your life. Subscribe to Stoic 95. This channel isn't for men who chase approval. It's for men who choose mastery, discipline, and power. The kind of men women remember forever.